Oh, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to episode 817 of FloWrestling Radio Live. I'm your host, Christian Piles, once again, completely by myself, no friends at all. Nothing new, though. JD Raider throwing up the L. Double L's from the Reverend John Kozak, not very positive. An L from Ben Askren, and an L to you guys. Double L's for you. Ben made it home. He left before the Fargo finals, junior finals. He said, you guys got it from here. JD.
They got it. Hey, listen, they got it. I should have left earlier. Them mugs went 7 for 7 in the place matches. I should have left the day before.
That's insane. That is very insane. So, yeah, was Aiden, or not Aiden, Mirasola, was he the junior champ you guys had?
Connor Mirasola won at 182, but, yeah, all of our guys in place matches won. It was freaking. I was watching it on the plane, and actually they got delayed, and then actually the plane took off right after Connor Mirasola scored the first takedown. So then I was left in suspense for the 45-minute flight to Minneapolis.
Dang. Well,
Ben, I was so excited. Oh, sorry. I had the taser out. I had it charged up. I had it in my bag, ready to go. And then I heard you weren't coming. This thing is powerful too.
I sat next to you yesterday.
No. Yeah. This thing, man. This taser is powerful. Let me tell you.
Dang. Well, you guys, I still owe you one, so you guys got to give me some time. Hey, you know what I was reminiscing about, and I don't know, man, back in Fargo, I'm saying when I was there to slightly after, I was thinking about Sandy Stevens used to call off every bout number. That was how people knew when they were up. And then they ran a bout to a mat. They had kids running to every single match. And then they had the kids collecting the matches that were done and taking them back, and they were writing on a sheet of paper. No computers. How crazy is that?
That's very crazy.
I was thinking,
those were the good old days.
How amazing is that bout sheets didn't get lost by kids, they accidentally dropped one or ran into somebody or something like that.
I'm sure it probably happened sometimes, but thank goodness for technology. Thank goodness for technology. Ben already flexed today that he purchased the streaming internet on planes. That's
no, I didn't. No, I said I didn't.
You did not? Oh,
I was watching. I was on the ground, and then we took off, and I thought I was maybe going to get through the match, and Connor got that first takedown on the edge, and then it went out, and I didn't get the internet again until Minneapolis.
While we're not talking about
the internet,
I want to say...
The internet in planes sometimes is not very good.
Well, yeah. Why do they... Does anyone actually understand why we have to put our phones in airplane mode on the airplane?
You don't have to. I never do. You're a lemon.
Yeah.
No, I don't do it. I don't do it, man.
You do it.
You're a sheep.
You do it.
I really don't. It makes us... I'm like,
coward.
If this is going to bring the plane down, then it's already over, because I'm not the only one. One time... Hey, listen to this. One time there was a lady, a flight attendant, and this was probably 5 or so years ago, and no one cuts off their phone, and she gets up there, and normally you thought, okay, they don't actually care, it's just something they are required to say. She gets on the PA, and she's like, she said something like, our computers can still tell that there are some of you that still have your phones in not in airplane mode. I was like, what? You just made that up. That's totally not even true, or a technology that you guys even have.
Big rules guy Christian Piles actually puts his phone in airplane mode. I didn't know that about you.
I'm not going to fall for that. I do not do that. What's crazy about the phone is how long you can have service up it as you get into the air. It can be 5 minutes in the air before you lose everything. So, this is important.
Yeah.
Okay.
I only got about 2 minutes into the air before I lost it. Hey, big news though. When I texted you last night, can we talk about that?
Oh boy, I don't know what you texted me, but go ahead and talk about it.
You don't remember?
Well, we texted for a while. I don't remember what.
What you nerd? That Cody Chittum said he's going to college.
Oh, well, yeah, that's not a secret. He put it on Instagram that this was his last high school.
He said last high school match.
I don't know.
Look,
it seems like a secret. You guys gave him a golden ticket. You guys look like fools now.
And he accepted the golden ticket and said he is looking forward to it.
Well, how are we supposed to know what grade these kids are
all
in?
you guys.
I mean,
No, I don't think he's. I think he's just done. From my understanding, he is done with high school. He will go off to either the OTC or a college and train for a year, and then officially start college career after that. Year
Really?
after that.
That post made it seem like he's going to college right now. Is how that post made me feel.
maybe he'll just go and live there and like train RTC it for a year. Who knows?
Yeah.
I'm not one to speculate about
Let's see.
this.
I'm gonna mess. I don't think
Yeah,
he
it
exactly
says- it
knows
literally
where
says
he's going.
off to
either.
college now, JD.
Yeah, off to college.
It doesn't say to class. Just says off to
To class.
a college.
JD, most of us go to class when we get to college.
What is he gonna be on
Not
staff? Is he gonna teach
No,
finance?
I'm saying I think he's gonna go somewhere and just like train.
Okay.
I'm pretty
All
sure
right, maybe.
he's
I don't
still
know. I didn't talk to
class
him.
of 2023.
Yeah. So the rumors of him reclassifying have been out there for quite some time now. The rumors of him switching his college commitment are very well known as well. Whether he goes to Minnesota, there's a lot up in the air. This could be our new Soriano. Where is he? This is a new level even for Soriano because at least we knew what grade he was in. Now we don't even know the grade. We don't know where he's going. We don't know his commitment status. It's all up in the air for Chittum. But he's got a lot of options. He's obviously a hammer. He was dominant all throughout Fargo. So we will.
Yeah. I
it's gonna be
remember
cool
you
if he did
guys
who's number
saying.
one.
I remember you guys telling me this a couple months ago, but then it kind of like, I don't say you guys forgot about it, but I never heard about it again. So I just figured it wasn't happening.
Which? That.
He was reclassifying.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's just been a rumor that's been out there for a little while. So yeah, we'll see what he ultimately does. Looks like he's leaning towards reclassifying though.
Larry Steele in the chat has a good point. Levi Haynes did the same thing last year, where he wrestled in Who's Number One, but then didn't compete in high school at all. Went to
Trained in
LWC,
Happy
trained
Valley.
there. So
Oh, really?
it's the Levi Haynes move. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. But if he says, I mean, if we're saying he's reclassifying, then he wouldn't be necessarily reclassifying if he just like left his high school and went somewhere and didn't actually go to college.
Class? Yeah, like I said.
Here we go.
Here we go.
So yes, we'll see what he's doing. AJ Ferrari in the portal. I mean, that's not a terrible surprise. I don't know how much or how many phone calls he's going to get given his circumstance. But there you
He's
go.
got some explaining to do. I mean, if I'm a college
Somebody's
coach,
gonna take a
I'm
chance
calling
on
and
him.
saying, what's the deal?
I see. Here's the thing, though, JD. These college coaches, there's no telling who they would recruit. They'd recruit anyone if they thought they could, place at NCAAs. But they've got to get past the administration, and you got someone that's actively under investigation for sexual assault. The administration is like, I don't care. This. First of all, this is wrestling. This is not a quarterback for some high-profile football team. It's a wrestler, which is not gonna. No one's gonna be pulling major strings to get a wrestler in with the administration. They're just not gonna have that power. So I think the admin, until there's some sort of clarity around this situation, resolution, I don't see him getting, looks from a D1 school. He'll get looks from the coaches, but I don't know if he'll be able to get in under these circumstances. That's just my thought and prediction. But yeah, there's not a coach that wouldn't probably. There's a lot of coaches that would roll the dice with AJ.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
I talked
I saw
to
yes.
some college. Go
Oh,
ahead.
you're good, Ben. You go. You're good.
No, I talked to a few college coaches that I'm friendly with, and it feels like they're staying away from it with a 10-foot pole until things clear up. Because there's obviously a lot of rumors out there, as I mentioned yesterday, and it seems like they are all it's kind of one of those things where too many people know, so everyone knows that everyone knows, and that makes them nervous.
Yeah.
For real,
Yeah,
though.
I saw yesterday. I take it as somebody associated with AJ's management, like the first round management. He posted on Twitter, D1 wrestling coaches can be soft as baby S word. You guys are all worried about image. And then AJ retweeted it. So kind of reading between the lines there. Sounds like not too many people are biting on Ferrari right now.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
you know, there were places that AJ visited that after he left decided to not pursue recruiting. So there have been teams that have, resisted the temptation of his talent for the betterment of the team and their culture. So it's not above teams to do that, right? It's happened. But, you look down the list, or you look at someone that could be, potentially pushing for a title or a trophy or just making some noise, and I think you'll find there are going to be some programs that'll take a chance. And if, it could be it's a risk reward if he's found completely innocent and no wrongdoing, and then you get a national champion wrestler, and it can all work out. But it's a long way from that point. Okay, Ben, I do want to talk about Fargo, but I am curious to talk, and we got Kozak here too, but I talked about ranking series yesterday, but you hadn't watched any of it. Now that you have, just give me some of your opinions on the performance from Team USA.
Well, I didn't get to watch a lot because I watched the junior final. I watched all of the junior finals.
Unbelievable.
And then I started turning into the ranking series after that, but I ran out of time. The Gilman matches were, so I watched Gilman and all of Gilman, Seth Gross. Seth Gross looked really good. How his trap arm, especially with Ali, his trap arm looked almost unstoppable. Like, he just kept getting to his trap arm over and over again. It was freaking wild. It was like Atley had no answer. So he looked really good. And then, Gilman was, I don't know what was up. The way he kept shooting to his belly. Part of me says maybe Kale said, like, hey, just go try some new things or, mix it up. Because I literally had this conversation with Keegan yesterday in the airport. He was, just telling me how he's trying to add some new things and then stuff's not fitting together. And I'm like, dude, you don't need it. It's freaking July. It doesn't need to fit together. Like, just keep trying things. And then, and you need to fit together in February, March. Like, that's it. Just try new things. And so maybe it's one of those where he's trying to implement some new tactics or something, but really sloppy shots to his belly. It was weird. I hadn't seen that Gilman in a long time. Maybe never.
Well, we've seen the shots to the belly. That's been a thing.
Yeah.
During his Dayton series, it's been.
Feels like it was excessive though. It felt like it was like a whole bunch of them.
Yeah.
I agree. That was one thing I noticed too. A lot of times he is just strong enough to somehow just by fingers hold on, and then
And he was at the tournament as well. There were a lot of. I think he was just looking to get to a position to eat a little bit of time there. I think him giving up points is one thing, but I just thought the second half of some of his matches were what stuck out to me. Just like not strong finishes, which is not common with. Well, I'll say this: like late match tactics in really close matches, that's been an area of weakness at times for Thomas. But like the second period as a whole, kind of getting run down a little bit, was sort of new for me, and I chalk it up. The guy's been on a heater since April basically of last year, and he won the tournament. He didn't look as good as we'd seen him, but I'm not alarmed, right? Really, the horse layer thing, not good.
That was a sloppy high flyer.
He would have stuck you with it, bro. So
I don't get high flyer. Have I ever? I don't think I've ever even got high flyer in practice.
And you won't even wrestle horse slayer, so how would we even know if this is...
He surely can't lift my hips. I got a lot of beef going on these days.
The beef and cheddar. Beef and cheddar Ben. Yeah, so, I mean...
Gilman's been competing a lot recently, weighing in a lot recently. Maybe he just needs a little break.
Yeah, I think he'll be fine.
A little reset.
Okay. I'm so not alarmed, but definitely not his best performance.
Just looking at the results, the Marsteller That is kind of alarming, given how given how close he was with Jordan last month. I feel like him getting kind of his butt kicked twice is makes me a little bit nervous. Like, was Jordan not on his best game, or like what was it? Because we kind of said, after trials, Chance is looking a lot better, which I agree with. I probably said. And then he looked great against Burroughs, winning a match even. But previously he's lost to a lot of people. Just say 1 year earlier, and now he comes out and he got 10-0'd by. I don't know Nakoti from Iran, and I don't know Sakai.
World Silver.
Kind of lost his. What's up?
World Silver last year. That's who Burroughs beat in the finals.
Okay.
Nakoti.
And then I didn't know the other guy, and so just like him getting kind of whooped like that was kind of off-putting. So I thought he'd be more competitive.
Yeah, no, I agree. But so I was up watching it, and you know how sometimes they mess up the order of international like pairings. So like they'll have a whole bunch of matches all together, and then there'll be like wait time. So Marsteller, he wrestled those first two matches. Who that guy from Greece is he won Euros this year, so he's really good. So he had that match, and then he had Savakui like 25 minutes later, and then he was on the wait time again for Nakoti right after that. So like those three matches were like all within an hour and a half. So it was kind of like one of the worst possible draws you could have. So I think that's a way to look at maybe the bright side of it. He looked really gassed against Nakoti, and probably rightfully so. He had a really good match against Savid Kui, who's Asian champ this year. He had a 2-1 match with Burroughs at the Yasudogu in February. So I look at that Nakoti loss as like, I don't think that's peak Marsteller, but I think Nakoti's gotten better. Nakoti had lost to Savid Kui 5-5 earlier in the tournament as well. So, but then he had like a rest time in between. He had like an hour in between, so he was fresh. Marsteller wasn't.
Got it.
And then I think, the Sakayev match, that's probably a little bit more concerning to me. Kind of knocks Marsteller down maybe a little bit, but I wouldn't read too much into the Nakoti one.
Okay, got it.
And then Seth Gross, you mentioned that he looked good. You talked about his trap arm gut. Anything else that stuck out to you about Seth?
I don't know why, but that dude. Okay, so the first sequence, Otley gets a head inside double, and he gets him up, and he's trying to secure like a cartwheel on the edge. It's actually it's a great tactic for freestyle wrestling, right? Because there's almost no concern because they hit out of bounds first, so they can't score on you, and you can kind of like send it. But Seth was so wiggly up there, and he got 1 point out of it, and then he like sat over there for a while, and then you could tell he's either frustrated or maybe tired, right? Something. He's just sitting over there, and then they pan back to the center, and he still takes even more time, and it's like, is this dude gas from this like first exchange of carrying this man around for 15 seconds or whatever it was? It was kind of weird.
There was definitely some weird effort stuff with Atley. Like, he gave up a no-effort go-behind after he was in on a shot, and Seth was going to work and was maybe going to score from the position regardless, but his hands were just on the mat. He just let him run behind at one point. Not the most heartfelt performance from Suleiman Atley, but still a very quality guy to beat. One thing with Seth in that position, we've seen him there before be really, really difficult. That was the Jesse Mendez position where Mendez had him completely lifted in the air. Yeah. And then, Seth ended up...
the head in the middle. So listen,
there.
I love these cartwheel doubles in freestyle. They're so tremendous. So if you imagine the guys on your shoulders, you can't attack at the knees because you can't get the leverage to pull them down enough when the head's in the middle. So the head on the outside, it's way easier because you can pull the legs across the body and like hit a roll like in this direction, not this direction. But when the head's in the middle, like going this way, they set their feet down, so you almost have to like slide to like the heels or something, and then pull like across as you're going, but then their upper body can still move because you only have their ankles, So that is it's significantly more tricky when the head's on the middle.
Got it.
Yeah.
So I thought Seth looked good. I think he's I feel like Seth is more fundamental maybe than people give him credit for. Like he's not just a guy who needs guys on his legs to score. He was getting the legs really consistently throughout the tournament, which is something he's often been able to do. I think he's going to be problems, but I'm curious for Kozak's read on Seth's performance.
Yeah, I think definitely optimistic about how he looked. Atlee's really fallen off over the last couple of years, so I don't know if you can read too much into that win, although he looked great. But if you look at the World Championship ranking, so it's got like the top 10 guys per weight. You got Ray Higuchi, who's really good, and then Haratunyan, who Dayton did beat last year, but I feel like matchup-wise could be tough for Seth just because he holds a really good position. And then Bakarov, who's a Russian transfer, now representing Albania. I think he's maybe one of the class of this 61 kilograms. He just teched Stevan Micic at the Mediterranean Games pretty easily, kind of rolled him up. And then Reza Atri from Iran is coming up from 57. He took 5th at the Olympics last year.
Gilman beat him for bronze.
I think Gilman beat him for bronze. Yeah. So there's some guys in this weight class that I still haven't seen enough of Seth to like kind of feel really, really confident that he's going to medal at Worlds. But I feel good after what I saw, last week. I don't know. I have him ranked 6th right now, going for a medal. Like I think that's kind of where he fits in my mind. But feel good about him for sure.
Nice.
Yeah, I feel similar. It's like, man, that performance was good, and then he looked great against Dayton. But then, you think back to the trials, and it's like he was so close to being out of the whole process, right? I mean, if Mendez doesn't get trapped arm or scores another takedown, it's over for him. That makes it, I don't know. I think he could do really well. Like I think there's the potential matchup-wise that he could go all the way and win it. But there's a matchup potential-wise where he's out first or second round also.
It reminds me of the 2017 Gilman run.
Great one.
This part, Gilman barely qualified. He almost lost to the Loper, Daniel DeShazer, at the last chance, and then he got the ball rolling. He barely beat Nathan Tomasello, late, literally last second takedown to beat NATO, and then he beats Tony, and then it's just has all this momentum. He's going to have an element that Gilman had, which is first-time experience for the world. He's not a known commodity like Dayton would be this year, or even was last year.
Surely these guys at this point, though, Christian, surely they know what FloWrestling is, and they come out and they see all these matches, right? That has to happen.
But I think someone like Seth is a really unique kind of competitor and has a really different sort of feel that is not easily recognized with film review or replicable in the room.
That's true.
That to me, I think, is a big part of Seth's advantage, especially this first crack. We've seen a lot of guys with first attempts do really well. So I'm not
true. I'm
not selling. I'm buying Seth as a bona fide medal contender, and with no Abascadze, that eliminates one guy that we pretty much know he can't beat, right? No one was beating that guy this year, and now he's not going to be there, so that's big. So Team USA, fun stuff. We got the Poland. Zilkowski's happening right now.
Yeah, dude. Maryland's wrestling.
Desanto is
Desanto.
He's wrestling. He won his first, and he lost late in his, his second match, John.
Yeah.
His second, so.
Yep.
Oh, it's happening right now. Did they realize it's Tuesday or when? What day is it? I told you, Fargo makes you lose track of days. I'm actually not sure what day it is.
It's Sunday. It's Sunday at 8 p.m. right now, Ben.
In Poland or in America?
No, for you.
I know it's morning. I know it's morning, Christian.
So I think the first round is done. I don't know. The schedule's really weird. The brackets, I don't know what they're doing as far as. I think they got the old like vertical pairing thing going on or something.
What?
It's really
Vertical
hard to
pairing,
follow.
that's still a thing?
Bring it back.
I don't know.
All
I don't
tournaments
know.
should be vertical pairing.
I can't figure it out. But the medal rounds start at noon Eastern. Yeah, so Desanto, he looked good in his first match, but then lost to Markovic. He was winning late, and then kind of like a very predictable. I was watching him in the car on the way over with JD, and he had a lead, and he just couldn't stop shooting. And he shot in, got dumped over, exposed, and then lost by 1 point.
I'm on
but I'm excited that he's
website.
wrestling.
Where do I find these brackets?
go
I'm on the Zilkowski event.
No, you got to go to SportsZona.
Duh.
You got to go to sportzona.pl.
Oh my! Of course. Why didn't I know that?
I'll text you, Ben. Ben, I'll text you it.
Sportzona.pl.
It says sports.
Or you could-
site can't be reached. I don't know. I don't have access to those things, I guess.
Yeah, Wisconsin, I think, blocks it as anything Polish.
You're not allowed-
Too many Polish people in Wisconsin. Lots of skis and whatnot.
Yeah. Oh, too many skis?
And they love polka. I think that should probably be Polish too, right?
You know, that's the thing with Wisconsin. Nowhere to ski. It's too darn flat. Next up, let's talk about Fargo. For crying out loud. It's where
finals, junior finals, baby.
James Dean and Jonathan are right now. We had the junior finals yesterday. Plenty to get to. Some really, really impressive performances. We already talked about Cody Chittum. We already talked about Connor Mirasola. AWA sweeping 182 at Fargo.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
You know what was more kind of crazy for me, guys, is how many matches were, and I don't feel this way about the freestyle cadet finals, how many matches were changed by top work? I mean, there was so many matches that were blown wide open by laces or guts. Probably 5, I think, maybe, that were really they were really competitive, and then boom, all of a sudden it's over.
Yeah, like the Jessaroga Horwath match was
Yep.
I think 1 takedown each, and he got the lace going, and that was the difference. Happened.
Webster and Corey Land. Corey Land got a trap arm off that scramble.
Block Aob, I'm pretty sure was one.
Yep. Okay, listen, I don't want to complain right now, Christian.
Yeah.
My man, Kozak, you said this is Polish. I can't read Polish. I don't know what the hell this says. What am I
No.
supposed to
There's
do
a drop
here?
down. There's a drop down. You can switch to English.
Ben doesn't know anything about sports.
I see it. That's Polski or English. You know, they love skis so much in Poland they call it Polski. That's the language apparently.
Is that right?
I don't know. It says Polski right here. I'm
There
not
it
sure.
is. Okay.
All right,
Are we
sorry,
talking about?
keep going.
Are we talking about?
Or
Are
Land.
you gonna be able to talk about it, or are you gonna be looking at Polish brackets?
I got issues here. You know, stop making fun of my.
I'm not making
Yeah.
fun. I'm trying to help.
I'm
Up to
good.
you
Let's
if you
go.
choose to
Corey
accept
Land,
it.
trap arm gut. It was really tight. Couldn't get out.
Yep. Could not get out of that. Do we want to talk about the Mason Gibson, Luke Stanich?
Can we show it? Because this was a disaster.
I think we can show it. So it's setting
we
the
can.
stage here. It's 6-4 Stanek late in the second. Gibson needs 2 to win. We can play it.
This happened.
And then this happens. And a conversation ensues afterwards. If you're not watching, Mason goes single to
Need to watch
seatbelt to a limp arm on the edge. And they give 2 here. And
Can we freeze it? So, the only argument you have on the one, the only argument you have even for Mason Gibson is that Stanich hits his hips for a split second. But at the time he does hit his hip, he has an underhook, and Mason Gibson's other arm is up on his shoulder. So it's like,
does he hit his hip with time on the clock?
yeah, I believe so. Can we'll freeze it here in a second.
Right
Can we make
around
that full
1,
screen by chance
just
so I can
start
see better?
pausing. Yeah, look at the slow-mo work from Nico.
Right
All
here.
break.
Boom.
That's not
right,
a hip.
so not a takedown.
Freeze.
Boom. And then Stanich's arm is in between them now. And in freestyle, additionally, you need to be all the way behind them. Remember, they've made a big point of emphasis
Pass
of
behind.
being pass behind their hips. He's not behind their hips, you know?
He's-
So then hold on.
Well, you can't. It's already at 0-0 here.
Yeah, and then, but even right there, okay, Free, go back one split second. Go back when he hits his hip. Even when he hits his hip, oh, damn it. Stanley's arm is between the bodies, and Mason Gibson's right arm is on the mat.
Yeah, I mean,
it's not like he's on both legs.
But that position's totally immaterial because time's up. It can't be. It cannot be that was given too. So it's not even worth actually discussing.
Go back to 1 second then. See where that at 1 second. But yeah, I mean, I don't think at any point in time this is a takedown at all. This is a really bad call. I don't know what they're thinking on this one. They went to review. It's really bad.
Yeah, I mean, my thought out of this was if this is a takedown, then there's a lot of takedowns not getting called in freestyle wrestling.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Right there. So it's got to be between 1 second and 0. At the 0,
and they're almost facing each other at that point in time.
Yeah.
So weird.
What was were you guys on the ground when this happened, John and JD? No.
I was in the plane and people went crazy.
People were going nuts on the plane.
Yeah, they were going nuts on the plane.
Dang.
No, yeah, I wasn't here yet.
Crazy.
Okay. Yeah,
just
not a good call. I can't even. I mean, it's either a great call and there's just tons of terrible calls happening.
It's not a great call, Christian.
Yeah, I know that. I'm saying the two things that have to be true. It's either a great call and they got it right, or every other takedown is based. There's like hundreds of takedowns being missed because this is a takedown.
And for the record, it was reviewed and ruled that way.
That's the scary part.
That's the scary part.
That's what freaking me out a little bit.
Freaking out because at no point was that very close to a takedown. Hey, kind of on topic, but a little bit off, only slightly off topic, Christian. So don't get too mad at me. The book I'm currently reading is by this really great psychologist named Daniel Kahneman. It's called Noise, and it's talking about flaws in human judgment. But it's funny because the most recent chapter I'm reading, the most recent ones are both on reading fingerprints and then medical diagnoses. And when what they proved essentially through a bunch of studies was when the new person looking at the evidence already knew what the previous person had thought, they're significantly more likely to side with them. So, they would give them the same case study with knowing the previous answer and then without knowing it. And it changes the person's answers significantly. And I was thinking about how at Fargo, this is so bad because Max actually brought this up on one. He said if the person sitting by the scorecard, the judge disagrees with the call that has been made, you have a good chance of getting the block and getting the call reversed. But if the judge doesn't agree, because the reviewer comes and sits down next to the judge and then tells the judge what they have already called. They've called what has been called. This is what we've been called them at. This is why. So they get their explanation to them. That is such a flawed process because now the person reviewing already has a preconceived notion of what happens.
They're biased.
So
biased.
They're significantly biased. So that was a good call by my brother Max. Because he said that 2 nights ago, and I read that in his book. I'm like, oh yeah, that's obvious. Why do they let the judge, who already has made the call, tell the reviewer what call has been made? The reviewer should go in there blind and say like, oh, this is what I think.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
Yes.
You don't need to get caught up to speed. They can watch and see for themselves how they want to call it.
What do you think?
Kozak, you watch a lot.
What's up?
Have you seen takedowns like that? Is that consistent with anything you've seen?
I don't think so. I mean, I was going to say there's a really good follow on Twitter. His name's Pat Pollard, and he's I think he's a retired official now, but he still like watches all the training, stays up to date on like the UWW rulebook and everything. And he said that was one for Mason. He said it wasn't behind, and there was only 2 points of contact on the ground, which you need 3. And so he was like saying because of those 2 criteria that it was just 1. And I agree, and I think this kind of goes back to almost what we were talking about after Final X. It's the out of bounds is kind of also what makes it tricky as well. The continuation, out of bounds. I mean, if it's just simply 1 step out, there you go. It's 1 point. So I think it points to the rules need to be simplified.
Yeah.
And they just call it different they call these things different on the edge than they would in the course of action. They would never ever even dream of calling this 2. No way.
Yeah. Yeah, not a good call. And like anyone that's saying like he was on a hip didn't actually watch carefully enough because he was not on a hip during the match.
While time was in.
Yeah. I do think
But
that
even if he was on a hip, he had the underhook. He has an underhook, and Mason Gibson's other hand is on the mat. Like, that's not control. Mason Gibson has an overhook, and like it's not even really that good of a position. Like, if you said, "Hey Ben, choose one of these positions," and you froze it, I'm probably gonna choose Stanger's position, honestly.
They will call the hip more. What was the one? It was it Zane J.O. where they called? He went down to the hip just for a second. At Final X, and they called that. So they will call that. But that when he was on the hip, that was. That's what I don't know about. That's what I'm unsure about. But either way, when he went to the hip, time was out. So that shouldn't make a difference.
Sure, fair enough.
Okay,
right.
So not a good call.
We want to talk about the other controversial call.
Yeah, this was a weird one.
1-6. Riggins.
Yeah, Riggins.
Can I lead it in?
I think I'm in the minority.
Yeah, Ben, lead it in.
Well, so this is actually my main contention with freestyle scoring, and so like I told you guys, freestyle folks are like my two children. So I'm not trying to say one is better than the other. But what you saw here was initially one guy got 4, and then the other guy got 4. That's a freaking 8-point swing. That's 80% of a tech fall. That's 4 takedowns, right? And actually 5, because if someone were to get an 8-point swing, you'd have to get another takedown to get over their 4-point move. And this one is highly. I told Christian I could see it both ways. I think I would have scored it for Ruiz, but Ruiz is in a great position. And it looks almost inevitable that what happens is going to happen. And then at the last minute, Riggins decides to kind of like jump or press into it, which then makes it look like he's the one doing the action. And he may have been, but he's also forced to do the action. And he was headed that direction anyways. And then at the very worst case, it should be 4-2 because you got to give Ruiz something for rolling him all the way through.
Yeah, can we roll it? No,
4-0 is almost inexcusable.
That's the end.
It's before this.
It's before this. Wait, do you have it timestamped for him, JD, at all?
Yes. Should be.
It's right there.
It was also the longest review of all time.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is.
First of all, good way for Aiden Riggins to come back because he was losing 7-8 and then he went up 11-8.
All right, right here. Here it is.
Right. So it looks almost inevitable that he's going to fall, and then right at the last minute he kind of jumps.
He does jump. He does definitely jump into it.
But go right before. If we can go back, like go super slow. Like right before the jump, you see his body is starting to tip forward. Like he's going that direction. He is going that direction. Like, and pause right here for 1 second. We get that. Okay, pause right here. Can we pause? So. Nico Ruiz is gotten to a good position, and when you watch when they get to their feet, Aiden Riggins starts tipping forward. He is going to continue to tip forward. There is no stopping this motion for Aiden Riggins. So at the last second, he says, "Okay, I'm going to send it. I'm going to jump." So this is where it's like, okay, Riggins does jump, in fact, right? But at the same time, he was going over. There's no way he was stopping this action. Once they're tipping forward, he's going to his back, and so this is where it's like. I see it both ways. Like, he was going to go there. He did jump. So, because Ruiz forced him there, essentially, whether he jumped or not, I'm giving it to Ruiz.
You could also argue, though, that Riggins forced Ruiz to do that, too, by taking the shot. Like, if you go back even further.
Yeah.
But right there, he's tipping forward, and then at the end, he jumps. You know, it's like,
but
you were already headed to your back here.
It's also interesting, though, because Riggins put himself, like, he worked to stand up with that single leg, you know.
But that was
Ruiz
a bad idea. That was a terror, honestly. From a
I know. I was watching it.
Yes.
I was watching. Like, he doesn't have to do this. He's winning by 3. Yeah.
You're winning by 3. Why in the hell would you stand up? Maybe you try to like post and lift from your knees, or maybe you just bail because at that point, if you bail, it's a 1-point maneuver because he had just scored, right? So it would not be considered a takedown. It would be considered a reversal because he just scores off this 4. Right, so if now he bails to his belly, it's a 1 point, right? It's considered a reversal, not a takedown.
Yeah.
So Yeah, I mean, that was a bad tactical error by Aiden Riggins to stand up at this point. Yeah, so I would have went for Ruiz because of what I said, but I understand what they're looking at here for sure.
I think it's a really difficult call. I think part of
I think
Riggins working up was as Ruiz was kind of like draping, like the pressure was off, so he kind of almost got like suckered into like building up.
Stand up.
Whereas otherwise, I don't think he would have because he just got light there and Ruiz was able to roll him through.
Yeah, I don't know. The more I watch it, the more I feel like it's Riggins' points.
Yes,
Okay.
I think I agree. There's one point where you can pause it, and I don't always like this, but Ruiz's feet are completely off the mat, and then Riggins' left foot is still on the mat, and then you see
Even
him
the way he
push
takes
off
him through, like
with this left foot.
Riggins doesn't.
Like Ruiz didn't want to
yeah.
be here. Riggins took it here, and then Ruiz here goes. Like, whether bad or not, like Riggins kind of forced that position, and then it was
and also
not
Riggins,
quite a YOLO crotch lock.
Riggins
but
falls to his side. He doesn't
It can't
go
be a yellow
across
crotch lock because he
his
was there
back.
the whole time.
Yeah.
I know, but like I don't think Ruiz is like wanted to come up to his feet and then crotch lock it through.
He had to want
Well,
to
I
come
think-
to his feet
I
'cause
think
he actually
that's
got to
exactly
get 4
what he's-
points at this
I think
time. So yes, he has to want him to come
Definitely
to
what
his
he's
feet.
trying for.
Yeah.
No, I think he wanted to do it originally, and then he was put in that position, like put in a worse position by Riggins standing up like that.
Watch the way Riggins. Though,
Like he would have liked to hit it right here.
Yeah.
Lift him all the
But
way up. Yes,
Riggins-
I got you.
Also, like
But this
Riggins
isn't the end
doesn't
of the
go
world
all
right
the
here.
way through.
But do you guys see
Yeah.
what I'm saying about how Riggins is falling forward? So in that position, okay, let's think about what. Here's what I like to think about, and this is where some refs miss because and I love you refs, so don't get mad at me. But you guys, they don't understand wrestling at deep enough level. You got to think about what do you want to actually happen, right? So at that moment where he's tipping forward, if you're in a high crotch, do you actually want to be tipping forward? And the answer is no. I want to be getting my ass down and my head up to lift the man up, right? So if I'm tipping and my butt is coming up, my head is going down, I'm being forced to do something that I don't actually want to do, right? So in that position, like a proper recovery would be like I use my inside leg, which would, in this would be his right one, and like do like a sweep, like sweep the leg and dump into his back, like that would be a recovery position. But this, you said YOLO. This is a YOLO by Riggins. This is a YOLO like shit. I'm about to get dumped. I'm just going to jump to make it look like it's my thing. That's exactly what happened. And, hey, bravo to him because he made it look like enough of his thing that they gave him the points.
Yeah.
Do you understand what I'm saying by, like, what they want to happen?
Yes.
What Aiden Riggins wants to happen is he wants to get his head up and his butt down and lift. That's what he wants to happen. He does not want his head to be going down and his butt to be going up. That is the opposite of what we want to happen there. So he's being forced to do something he doesn't want to do.
I'll say this. I don't understand how Ruiz gets nothing for that.
That's
A straight 4-0, I have a hard time with. And I don't like, what makes it tough is, and the thing they cited was that Riggins initiated and was on the leg. And I don't know if that's always like the thing you can hang your hat on for these
Yeah, you cannot.
exchanges.
That should not be a good hanger of header.
Hanger of hatter, as we've been saying that.
Ben, I think though, to your point though, like Ruiz, if he's gonna do crotch lift for 4, he doesn't want his right leg lifted up off the ground, right?
Absolutely
like he doesn't
not.
want it up outside the body. So like,
Correct.
you can't say though, like Riggins doesn't want to finish like that because Ruiz wouldn't want to finish a crotch lift like that either. You know what I mean?
So they're in a battle where both men are vying for good position, right?
Yeah.
And essentially, yes, Ruiz would love both feet on the ground so he can get more power, and Riggins makes that not happen. But again, as you're watching positions slowly, you're seeing them develop, right? So I guess, if we start from the beginning and he's on his knees, at that point, Ruiz would prefer to slide Riggins' shoulder out, lift him up, and just toss him over. That would be easiest case scenario, right? But
Right.
Riggins is too good for that. He keeps his shoulder in. He's able to come to his feet. But then when he comes to his feet, he actually doesn't want to lift that foot off the mat like that, right? What he would really like to do is get more up in the crotch so he can lift the body, right? That's what the high crotch guy wants to do. He doesn't want to lift that leg because that's dangerous. What he wants to do is get up in towards the crotch and lift the body, and he's not able to do that. So, they're in a position which is probably not ideal for either one of them. It's not really what either one of them wants. But then, so I guess I'm kind of being repetitive here, but what I'm watching is as they're going there, that Reagan's head is tipping forward. He has no choice. He has no choice in that. He's going to his back, guys. He could either try to do what he did, or he could have bailed on the leg and tried to dive to his belly. One of the two is the only thing that's going to happen. There's no other recovery at that point in time. So, like that, I see it both ways. I would, if I would have made the call, that's why I'm making the call for Ruiz. But I see it both ways.
Cool. Other Fargo notable performances, of which there were many. For me,
is that a Donald Trump line right there?
No, I don't think so.
Haters and doubters.
Of which there are many. Yeah, that is a little Trumpy.
Stole that.
No, I don't think so. There's nothing new under the sun, Ben. Don't you know that? Cody Merrill, for me, was one of the bigger standout performers. First of all, he beat, I think, three or four different top 10 guys in this bracket, and he sort of dominated Ryland Rogers. And I think Ryland was probably the favorite in that match. I certainly thought Ryland was going to win, and it wasn't really all that competitive. Merrill is head, hands, defense, his go-behinds. He's a real powerhouse, and he's kind of got that a little bit of a sleeper build and kind of appearance, but man, he's a beast.
Yeah, I agree. He looked good the whole tournament. Yeah, he beat the I didn't know the Michael Delgado kid, but he beat him in round 32, and then he beat Cole, and then Hayden Walters, and then Wyatt Volker, which that was a very last second. That was just power. He just powered through it. There wasn't a lot of technique to that. Sometimes you just got to get strong on him, and that was what he did to win that one at the buzzer. Yeah, and they looked great in the finals.
He's a powerhouse for sure. Liked watching him. Man, who else stood out? I mean,
Ryder Block I thought was really good. Kyle Dutton, I didn't know Kyle Dutton. My guy lost to Kyle Dutton in the round of 256, and I kind of thought
rocked up.
I kind of thought my guy was gonna kind of do all right, And when he lost in round 256, I was like, damn it. And I looked the kid up. I'm like, oh, this kid's pretty good. And then
he was ranked 10th or something coming in.
He's really, really good. He killed everyone.
Yeah, he killed Bowman. Which Bowman is a guy you need to kill him. You've got to put this guy out. You can't let him hang around in the match.
In the dagger.
When he got 8-0, it was like, all right, man, put him away, and he did. Because these kids can just freaking, they're pinners. They're dangerous.
Yeah.
But he's super solid. Man, great get for Neil Arizman and Arkansas Little Rock.
I believe he only had one match that wasn't a tech fall, though.
Yeah, he dominated.
Yeah.
Dutton, Manville.
He earned OW.
Dutton
official OW. Yeah.
I probably would have.
Yeah, he only gave
Cody,
up. My guy got a point on him in the first round, and then he 10-0'd everyone else except Jack Hansen in the semis.
Wow.
Very impressive.
Wow. That's extremely impressive. JD or Kozak, who's on your mind that that stood out for you or interesting matches?
I was going to mention Block as a standout. For me, I actually picked him to win, but to me, the big story as a whole is just Iowa, baby.
Yeah.
Dominant.
And that was one of our FRL questions, from Ben Swallow. What do you attribute the recent resurgence of Iowa high school wrestling? Traditions there seem to be better than they have been in a long time on the national stage, despite being a smaller populous state.
It's the emergence of the clubs. They're Seabolt. Seabolt's been around for quite some time now, but I think now has really learned how to coach kids at these age and is developing them better. And a lot of these guys are training together. They're doing a good job at getting the guys to compete. That's an issue for a lot of states is sometimes these states have the guys, but they don't want to compete at Fargo or duels, and Iowa's getting them. Big Game is also doing tremendous. That's a newer club as well. So I think you just owe a lot it to those club coaches in the area.
Yeah, I think anytime you see this kind of thing, you've got to look at coaching.
100%. I mean, obviously, it could be cyclical also. Just, you know, I know, like, before AWA started, there's a really good crop of Wisconsin kids that came through and that did really well. You know, the Filkey and Derringer, they kind of had a handful of kids surrounding them also that were really good. So states go through this. But, yeah, I think they have a really good club system, both the ones you mentioned. And that matters so much. And you're seeing this a lot in the Midwest, obviously. We have one. Pinnacle's great. Illinois has got a bunch of good clubs, Izzy and some others. And a lot of other states are kind of more fractured, you know, meaning clubs are battling each other, the kids are flip-flopping around, and just things that I think aren't very good for long-term development. And so I would agree with JD that's a big contributing factor.
I also wonder, one of the narratives about Iowa and Fargo performance and just like it seemed like specialization wasn't there as much. Like a lot of kids do multiple sports. It seems like a lot of these guys are pretty specialized now in just wrestling, and you're going to see the big payoffs for those at the high school level, right? If you have a kid, the payoffs for specialization come actually earlier rather than later, it would seem. So I think that's part of it. I think a lot of credit to having really good club coaches and really good clubs with a lot of wrestlers all training together year-round. That has obviously a profound impact. And Iowa loves wrestling. You know, it's a and you don't need you don't need the huge gaudy numbers of participants to do really well at Fargo. If you're putting, you know, the amount that they're putting on the podium, it's not a huge number.
Numbers don't actually help.
4 champs, 9 in the top 3.
Yeah. Like that's gonna put you up there.
So Wisconsin moved from 10th or 11th to 5th just on winning 7 place matches. So I mean the placement points are the only points, literally. So yeah, having a lot of numbers doesn't really help at all. It's just you got to have those higher end kids.
Yes. Yeah. So it's good. It is cyclical too. Like we saw in like it was 2014 or 2015 Oklahoma.
Look at Illinois.
Illinois has had that, but they've. I feel like
they've dropped, like they brought, you know, most of their hammers this year, and they took 8th. And Illinois runs Fargo traditionally.
They're down a lot.
Just logged off. So yeah, they're down. I would say, listen, Illinois.
That's where it's like I feel like it's cyclical. Like I feel like Illinois. Like, are you really thinking they're gonna be down forever? Because I don't think that.
No.
Also, the impact that Corona had on that state was a lot more than it did on other states. And so, like, AJ Heeg is in Oklahoma now. Like, how many kids are like that? How many kids just had their training completely disrupted? Illinois gets a pass for a little bit, and it's going to take time, I think, because they have just a system that's designed to, like, win duels in Fargo. Like, they're really, really good.
But that was where – so this let me push back on that a little bit. That's where I think they did it earlier than anyone, where they had a really functional state system, which did a great job of getting the best kids out, getting them to freestyle Greco camps and all this stuff. And now with, you know, like what JD was saying about the club system, it's like, yeah, but a lot of these kids are training year-round at high-level clubs, and that's so much more impactful than having a good state system, right? So, like, you know, obviously AWA, we founded in 2011, and we were the first club to go year-round in Wisconsin. But and you know, honestly, that first summer or the first couple, there was practice. We had 4 dudes at practice. I mean, like nobody. You know, it was bare bones. And now I think probably if you did average weekly attendance, just different individuals at all of our academies right now during the summer, I think we'd be at 250 to 300. Like different kids showing up at practice, and we don't have any 10 and unders right now. 10 and unders do not practice during the summer. So we're talking between the age of 10 and 18. And the high majority would be high school. So, like, the amount of kids who are actually wrestling, like, longer is crazy to me.
Yeah. But there is cyclical talent. Iowa's had this in the past where they've had big, awesome classes. Oklahoma had one in like 2014 or 15 when they had Dayton and JoJo and Cade Brock and G and some other kids. It was just insane, the talent they had. They won freestyle easily.
Iowa's class with, like, you guys are probably better. It's like McDonough, Borschel, LeClaire, Slayton. There was like that class or that group was really deep.
And then a few years later, you had like St. John Gambrell, Nick Moore. There's just a bunch of really good Iowa kids then too. So yeah, it is cyclical, but I think when you have the stability of the clubs that they provide, it may not ebb and flow to the degree it had. Maybe it will, but
they took 6 at 16U, so it's not like they're super down after these couple classes leave, but it's not kind of the walk through junior duels and double up second place points at Fargo type of situation probably coming through with the next couple of years.
It's good. Okay, let's get to some other Fargo things before we transition to questions. Is there anything else you want to talk about? I mean, the Barr Welsh match was probably the best final. Maybe Riggins Ruiz was, but
Riggins Ruiz was good.
Yeah, the Barr running down Welsh late was pretty freaking impressive for me.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, Gibson stance was good too, but yeah, I agree with what you said for sure.
Yeah, that was very good. Kind of mired by the finish. So. All right, let's get to some questions then. We already talked
also,
about...
shout out Corey Land.
Yes.
Shout out Corey Land. Alabama's second all-time champ.
Yeah,
and I'm going to be honest, I did not think...
Sam Latona.
I did not think Land was going to be able to navigate that 132 bracket. But
Alabama hater, J.D. Raider. It rhymes for a reason.
He's from Moody, which is not too far from where my grandparents live, actually.
Okay. Maybe he's your kinfolk.
Maybe not, but maybe.
All right, Matt wants to know how involved Ben is in the recruiting process for his wrestlers.
The medium, not overly involved.
Medium involved.
They ask my opinion. I give them my opinion, and there's obviously some things I really don't like that college coaches do, and so I make sure to say that. Like the whole here's your offer, you have like 2 weeks. Like that's bullshit. I don't like that. So I would say medium involved. I advise them, and I usually let them kind of come to me and ask questions as opposed to me trying to put something on them.
Yeah. Ben goes on
the Missouri and Northern Iowa connection is just like, a lot of people think we're sending people there, but it's like people have friends. Like Jacob Roshko went to Missouri. He was really good friends with Peyton Mako. Peyton Mako went to Missouri. Peyton Mako and Jacob Roshko were really good friends with Keegan O'Toole. So then Keegan O'Toole goes to Missouri. It's just like, and then same thing with Northern Iowa happened. It's just like they kind of like are friends. They talk to their friends, and then their friends say, hey, Coach Schwab or Coach Smith, recruit this guy. This guy's going to be really good. And then it starts happening, and boom.
Yeah.
It's like verbal meme, one guy going here, little domino, and then big domino, Keegan O'Toole going to Missouri.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. Do you think coaches recruit your guys a little differently, knowing that do you think they save some of their tactics?
They don't, and it's so annoying to me that they still haven't figured this out. Like, obviously, like 2 guys we just had, Shane Corrigan and Caleb Munier, they're peaking now, right? These guys are guys who've never ever been in the high school rankings, but they're good and they were developing. And, now I think in the 5th place match, Caleb beat the number 5 guy in the country, and in the 7th place match, Shane beat the number 13 guy in the country. And it's like they're both going Division II. And not that I have anything wrong with Division II, but these are guys who maybe shouldn't be getting big offers from Division I's, but probably shouldn't be getting some offers for Division I's. And they got no offers whatsoever, Luckily, the Division II in our state, UW Parkside, Their head coach came to AWA. We have a great relationship. I think he's amazing. But yeah, the fact that college coaches haven't figured it out yet that our guys are going to develop late. I mean, look, Ben Kaczynski, right? He won Fargo last year. And especially because Corona, some of our guys didn't get seen for a while. So, all of a sudden he becomes a freaking savage and he's going D3 because, it's like, if they don't trust me, I don't know who the hell they're going to trust. Like, I'm not going to bullshit them. Like, if this kid's getting really good, I'm going to tell you, hey, this kid's like, he's getting there. Like, I think he's going to be really good. But they still don't trust it. It's really weird. Like, they need to see the results, and the fact that some of them haven't figured it out, it does blow my mind.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Potential advantage for some. That's maybe a blue blood powerhouse maybe doesn't want to be like the first one to take a chance on a kid kind of without the results behind him. But you would think that's a huge opportunity for like, a program that's not in that category to jump in and take some chances.
But on those two guys I mentioned, like no one took chances on it. I'm not 1,000% sure. I'm not 100% sure. I'm only 99% sure that they did not have any. They might have had a couple of D1 colleges call them, but there was no offers made from any Division I colleges. And like I said, a guy like Caleb Munier he's beat the number 5 guy in the country to take 5th place at Fargo. Like he is absolutely Division I level, and no one, not the best programs, no one gave him an offer. And it's like, I don't know how they're not seeing Ben Kaczynski again. No one gave him an offer till July 20, and he said, "Hey, I'm moving in 3 weeks. I'm not going to change my plans."
Good for him.
So, yeah.
Cool. All right. Does AJ Ferrari's current behavior lower his sibling stock? Will coaches just not want to deal with the cloud of dust following them along? Sadly, maybe not sadly, I don't know, but fair or not, I'll say, yeah, absolutely. This is a tight-knit family, and they seem like a sort of a package deal, AJ went to Oklahoma State, they moved, the brothers went to Stillwater. You think they're going to be connected, and so I do think this probably hurts their guys' stock. I do think coaches are still going to absolutely take, are going to offer these kids and try to, AJ included. But yeah, I think the whole idea of the package deal is going to be a deterrent for some programs.
Yeah, I would think so. This last question is good, Christian. Would you rather get rid of grounded or slips? I mean, I would do both, but the answer is easy for me.
Easy.
What's it for you?
Grounded.
Grounded.
Yeah.
Easy.
Slips aren't called like hardly at all in freestyle, so.
Yeah.
I had a bad one in one of my matches that I was so frustrated.
There are some bad ones. They still stink. But for whatever reason, I feel like grounded has changed. Well, not for whatever reason. I know the reason because it's true. Grounded has changed way more matches than slip throws have. Like, there's not some massive slip problem. It's just sort of an annoying thing that happens sometimes, but it's not terrible. It is terrible. It's actually terrible, but in the grand scheme of things, I can live with it a lot more than grounded.
The other one that I don't know why I didn't put in here to make a fun poll is correct throw. Did you guys see the freaking? It was Cadet Freestyle 170 finals when the guy wizard kicks the guy out of bounds and they gave him 2, and I'm like, what the? Obviously, it wasn't a takedown, and it should have been 1, and it was. They called it a flipping correct throw for 2 points. It's like, no, it's a wizard kick. The guy landed on his knees. He did a terrible job. This is not a correct throw.
Yeah, no. The line is like, if it was correct, it would have worked.
Yeah, it would have worked.
It's not correct.
So dumb.
Yeah, it's a weird one. It's just a weird thing where, like, Greco rules that have to be made so points are actually being scored, but then they make it over to freestyle. You're like, wait a second, don't do that. Don't put that evil on us of slip throws and correct throws. No, just like real throws. And with Greco, you get what you get, and if like people aren't able to put people on their backs or secure takedowns or actually throw people, I I don't really understand getting points, but or at least don't bring it over to freestyle would be my thought.
Yes. Don't put that evil on us, Ricky Bobby.
Yes. Okay, Ricky Bobbies. Fun show. This has been good. I know JD and John, they got some Fargoing to do. They got some Fargo catch up. Look at them. They're so full of life and energy. Just day one in the dome. Full of excitement.
Day one in the dome, baby.
So I hope you.
Hey,
hope
listen,
you guys,
I'm gonna make a recommendation.
Yeah.
We found this Mexican place called Mangoes. Dude, it was the bomb. We went there twice. I took Vader there for my birthday dinner.
Heck yeah.
I eat Mexican all the time.
What's it called? The turf?
It's called Mango.
Yeah, the turf.
It's like attached to a gas station, so you'd be like, oh, this is sketch. Dude, it was so good.
Okay.
Heck yeah. Get some
Sometimes the
Slim
best
Jims.
Mexican I have is attached to gas stations.
All right. Mangoes.
All right, we'll look into it. If you're in Fargo, now's your chance.
Hit
Go
up
on the
Mangoes.
Mangoes. They got some great quesadillas and the fajitas. The whole thing's great. Thank you guys so much for listening. We'll be back. We will see you next time. Thank you, Ben, JD, and John, and especially you for listening. Have a great Wednesday. See you next time, guys.